Yee-hoo, everybody, and welcome to the Scenic Views podcast. We don't have Erin this week. She has a bit of a family issue going on. So we brought in our super substitute, Caleb, who's hanging out with Dre because he's a loser and doesn't have any Android products.
How's
it going, guys?
Very good.
Fantastic.
I can't believe you did open with that.
I told you, that's our opening from now on. Also our first t-shirt.
First t-shirt. I'll take 3.
So I was telling Zach today that I'm friends with this random, I don't know how, and he ends so many posts with that, hoo-dee-hoo, and it drives me crazy because I hear Mr. Hanky in my head.
I don't know who that is.
On South Park, it's the poo. I hate
Oh,
poo.
okay.
And so today I'm like, I've had enough. I'm unfriending him. And so here we are with hoo-dee-hoo.
He's probably watching right now.
I do not remember his name for the life of me. Whatever.
So
sorry, I'm just trying to get everything shared around.
you're good.
So our big things, what shirt? So I assume he's talking about your Scenic shirt.
Yep. John bought it from that guy in Iowa at the barbecue fundraiser.
Okay. That might be why he likes it.
I'm sorry, I can't see his name. I totally forgot.
Carl Krambeck.
Yes, Carl Krambeck. Thank you so much. I love my shirt.
Hey, if I remember correctly, Carl's the guy that was running for House in Iowa. He popped into the other podcast I was on quite a bit. One of our favorite people. So today we are talking guns and lots of it in one way or another, which is probably why Caleb decided to bring his gun shirt.
That's right.
So our main issues, well, you could say that we're talking about guns. You could also say we're talking about cops. And unfortunately, those two things go together way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we want to talk about tonight is the red flag law in Maryland. Because when the left says, we're not coming for your guns,
they're big fat
we
liars.
now have the story to tell them to shove it up their ass.
Yep.
If you haven't heard, 2 police officers ordered to remove firearms from a house on a red flag protective order fatally shot an armed man in Ferndale, Maryland. First off, why the hell are you arriving at someone's house at 5:17 in the morning? I mean, really? You can't serve a search warrant when someone's awake?
Right.
You're asking for a confrontation when you show up to someone's house that early.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you show up at my house at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to answer the fucking door armed.
Yeah.
Because who comes to your house at 5 o'clock in the damn morning
People
unless
that-
it's something catastrophic?
People that want to either kill you or steal your shit, which is what they were there to do. Yeah, exactly.
Thieves come at 5 a.m.
So the victim's name, and to us he is a victim,
Right.
was Gary Willis. He was 61 years old. It's not really telling me a whole lot else about him. Except one of his family members said that her uncle likes to speak his mind but wouldn't hurt anyone. So, I mean,
Yeah,
basically he was basically like a liberty-leaning something or other, most likely.
Right.
he got in an argument with a family member, and the family member was mad at him,
Mm-hmm.
didn't really think that he needed his guns taken away. This was all out of spite.
Yeah.
This man died because of spite.
Yeah, somebody was pissed. That's...
Josh makes a note. I didn't know this. Good looking out. More than 150 red flag orders have already been served since the new law passed. I think that law is pretty recent, so
Yep.
that's
And they got
scary.
right on it. Sorry.
Hi. Someone said hi, Kayla.
Caleb brought his own fan club tonight.
I brought my fan base with me.
So, okay, so here it says it went into effect October 1st. So basically that's 3 a day that they're doing. If there's been over 150, it's been less than 50 days.
That's a lot.
That's scary. And if they're gonna kill one person every 50 or every 150 attempts, I'm sure there's gonna be someone else who's just like, I've had it. And a lot of us say that this is the point where we cut off and say no more. This is going to end this way at least a couple more times.
There's always more.
Yeah.
I mean, you give the fuckers an inch, they take a mile. That's
why we can't be waffle on this.
No.
At all.
Right.
It's easier for us here in Nebraska to be like, well, that's not going to happen here, because it won't. Nebraska would be one of the last states for this to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But a lot of our listening base is coming out of Texas, actually, from our what's the word I'm looking for? Demographic information. Mm-hmm. And you might think they're safe too, but their elections are starting to go blue.
They're a purple state.
They're becoming a purple state. So this is going to get scary for a lot of our listeners, because if Maryland's going to do it, sure, Maryland's going to be one of the first places to do this. California is going to piggyback on this real fast. Right. Although, if anyone even has a gun in California at this point.
Yeah, New York and Connecticut. What's that?
All the security guards.
Where at?
Yeah. California.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you can have them.
Yeah. So that kind of leads us into the next story, and then we're going to talk a little more broadly about guns and... Oh, yeah. So John Phillips, the Region 6 rep for the LP, Illinois is probably coming for them. Yeah, Illinois is probably next. Especially with that dude you guys just elected for governor. You're gonna get weed legalized, taxed out the ass, and no more guns.
Yeah.
Rip you guys.
Can you really have guns in Illinois? Or is it it's like a pain in the ass?
It's a pain in the ass in Chicago proper.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of the state.
Yeah.
Chicago, it's like New York. Chicago runs the politics for the rest of the state, so whatever laws they want to push, it's going to be enacted.
I saw Death Wish with Bruce Willis. It made it look pretty easy, but I don't know.
Yeah, you just steal one off of a guy in the ER. It's no big deal. It was
so Jared has a funny no, wrong one. Sorry, trying to find it. Where'd it go? There we go. Indiana Republicans, so they're not your friends, are introducing safe storage next session. It's only a few years before they want to take them. That's the Republican Party in Indiana. Mm-hmm. So
look at the president. Donald, take the guns first, then go through due process. Trump. So it's like,
yeah.
Are we surprised?
So I made it. We were talking about. I think it was actually Erin posted something about. When people start talking about if taking away all the guns could do away with one murder, then isn't it worth it? And blah blah blah, and then started talking about, well, if you cut off every man's penis to prevent one rape, isn't that worth it? And all that. And I went on a tangent about, we're not talking about taking everyone's penis. We just, when it's not being used, a penis should be in its cage and kept safe.
Behind locks.
Yeah.
So the children can't get it.
We started talking about
that makes more sense than what they're talking about, because you can't. If you have your gun under lock and key and someone breaks into your house, you don't have time.
No, it's useless. If you need a gun, you need it now. That's all there is to it.
I'm not going to... Excuse me, Mr. Robber. Let me get the key to my safe. No. I'll be right with you.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, I'm going to shoot him in the face.
I worry that I don't have enough time with it in my nightstand,
Right?
If you don't hear it until he's in the room, so if it's not under your pillow and you're coming out with it immediately, it's slow.
And that's considering you can wake up in time to figure out what's going on and then turn your key. Like that, no, you might as well just have a baseball bat, man.
So I like this comment. If anything else causes 33,000 deaths a year, Congress would be working to find a solution. People who say that clearly don't.
If anything else causes 33,000 deaths a year, Congress should be working to find a solution.
Derp. That's what the other comment said. Where did that go?
Jared, can you hear us?
Okay. Yes.
Someone said, what's a good first gun?
A gun you can shoot well. Easy to handle, easy to maneuver, easy to load and clean and all that maintenance. Absolutely.
I'll tell you the best one, the best beginner gun if you're just getting into it. I got a while back, I had a good deal on it, and they're not paying me to say this or anything. It's called a Walther Creed. It was probably about $270 is all it cost, and I got it on sale though. And it's not one that I would carry around. I mean, it's gonna do the trick. It's gonna go bang every time you pull the trigger. But it was like my girlfriend shot it. She had only shot a gun twice in her life, and then I mean, she had a grouping like a rock, like a fist from about 15 yards out. Sometimes I kind of regret teaching her how to shoot, but you know.
Is that what caliber is that?
9mm. It's 9mm.
Nice.
So yeah, I still have it actually. I don't carry it, but if I want to take somebody to the range that's never shot before, that's what I'll bring because it's easy to figure out. We still there? Everybody hear us? Okay, cool. We're back on. Zach. Did we lose him again?
I don't know.
Damn these fucking technical difficulties. Did he send us a Facebook message?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I was making a poll.
What?
I was making a poll.
Oh, okay.
So this program has a ton of new things. I don't like how that looks. But it has a ton of new features that I'm still learning. So apologies, everyone. But it looks like we are getting results. I don't know if this is us voting on it or the audience voting on it, though.
I am voting.
Where did you put the poll? Because we can't see it.
So if you look in your preview box, it should show you all the screens.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not, because I never see what this looks like from the guest end, so I don't know. But so the poll, it's like, what's a good first gun? So
right.
The options are Glock, Remington, SIG, and Walther.
The only reason I wouldn't say Glock is because they're kind of expensive. I mean, SIG's more expensive than the others, but don't get a Remington. The fuckers rust. I have one Remington as a shotgun I inherited from my grandpa.
That's definitely not a good thing.
No. I mean, it's in good shape. Go ahead.
No, I 9mm, and I need to get a 380 because my aim is just better, and it's easier for me to conceal a 380 than it is a 9mm. Unfortunately, I don't have the real estate.
Yeah, it's easier for me to. I can carry full size if I want to.
Yeah, my 9 always prints, no matter what.
John says, for us watching, it's a button next to where we type. Thanks, John.
Oh, I see.
Good looking out for us.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah, SIG and Glock are expensive. If you decide you like guns, get one of those afterwards. I love my Glock. My friend loves his SIG, but don't start out with it.
So, kind of moving into the next story, which is more of the same. Police chief saddened after officer killed armed guard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's saddened, is he?
Oh,
yeah, so sad.
We have his
I'm glad he's sad.
Yeah, it's like
that's great.
What was the alternative?
Done more about training.
Yeah,
his officers.
The alternative, was he happy, or I mean, like?
So the victim's name, the hero's name, actually, because this man was a fucking hero, is right. Jamel Robertson. Robertson.
And yeah, that's the name we should be repeating.
Right. And we're gonna haven't figured out how yet, but we do want to do a post later this week, commemorating him because he stopped a mass shooting, and that's something that we need to be celebrating. And me being a security guard, I don't do armed security because I don't want to be in this situation, exactly this situation. Yeah. But I do private security as a side gig. And this is like a worst nightmare for us.
Oh yeah.
It's not the bad guys. It's the cops, and for some of us that might be the bad guys. And look, so if you've followed any of my previous work, you know that my stance is being a cop is a very tough job. Mm-hmm. And there are very good cops. but because it's a tough job, you shouldn't let losers do it.
Right.
And when we have to crank up the drug war, we have to get all these cops to fight the drug war, you're gonna get lower quality officers. And this is what happens.
I wish I could remember what city it was in, but one commissioner, police head guy, is having great success with de-escalation training. They are having, like, the shootings just dropped off, and arrests and everything else everything is better because they're enforcing this de-escalation tactics rather than strong arming the public.
Yeah.
And so I think more, districts should probably adapt to that. It's cheap. It's just talking to them and telling them how to better deal with human beings instead of,
beating and shooting them, which is what they do now.
I'm sick of seeing these goddamn videos.
Yeah. And so this guy, look, I'm not someone who always puts a lot of stock into these shootings being race-based. This was a big black dude.
Yeah.
And that mattered.
It did. It did.
And like this is so a lot of times when we hear about cops shooting black guys in these stories, it's either like you get like the kids like Tamir Rice, which was like stories like that where it's like it's really obvious that these guys never had any business being a cop if they can't show some restraint.
Right.
The frustrating part to me about that narrative is always there's stories where you have what was the guy's name in Missouri that kind of kicked all this off? Yeah.
The one that beat the cop up.
Yeah.
Tried to get the cops
trying to get his gun. Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem is, we have a media that isn't honest about it, so we can't have honest discussions. Like, okay, this is a tragedy. Maybe tragedy is not the right word, but this is a hero that got gunned down by someone who's supposed to be supporting them. And the media is going to put it, like, shoehorn it into a narrative that includes people that kind of got what was coming to them. Because when you assault someone who has a gun, there's a likely outcome.
And when you're trying to take his gun, you're no longer unarmed because you're trying to become armed. So
and when you're like 100 pounds heavier than your opponent and you're swinging at his face, it's life and death at that point. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. I agree. And I'm not a cop sucker, but it's
But so the thing is, when they do that, it discredits the media, so that when we try to talk about situations like this, there's a whole chunk of the population that's like, well, you just hate cops, or you're just a black apologist if you're talking to the stupid white nationalist assholes.
Right.
But it's like, no, like there is some racial bias going on here.
Right.
And also we have, go ahead.
Sorry, it needs just to be taken case by case, and we need to wait till the details come out because.
No, absolutely not.
Why I don't like? God damn, I'm so sick of the reactionary and the media blowing it up, and it's like, wait, can we just get 3 details before we decide who's to blame?
Right. I mean,
John brings up a really good point here, and I want to caveat onto this actually because I didn't think about it, but it's something I got taught in criminal justice when I was going for it in college. They don't like really smart people.
No,
they don't like.
I want you to follow her.
They want veterans, but typically combat veterans, people who, let's be honest, have itchier trigger fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't like security forces veterans, because those are guys that are trained to show a lot of restraint.
Right.
They don't want to shoot their battle buddies. So, they are pre-selecting for officers that are not equipped to stamp down violence without using violence. And
Right.
that is why our policing system is so messed up at this point. I've talked way too much, so I want you guys to jump in here.
No,
Go ahead.
you're 100% right. And like I said a few minutes ago, I think that the answer is de-escalation and more training. The rules of engagement, I've seen several tweets recently, like this and this and this has to happen in combat before we're allowed to pull a weapon on somebody.
Right.
And cops do not have any of those stipulations.
Shooting
They're just
into homes and neighborhoods.
I felt threatened.
Yeah.
So I shot him.
He's just standing there menacingly.
We can't do that. I feel threatened all the time. I had a meth head shove me at Walmart the other day.
Right, yeah.
Did I shoot her in the face? No.
Dude, I mean, I'll tell you, so I was talking to my friend. He owns a tattoo shop down in, central Omaha. I was talking to him. It was about 1:00 in the morning. We're standing there talking. This truck pulls up, and it's a truck neither of us have seen. We kind of look over each other. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy gets out, and he comes walking toward us with a shotgun. Fucking walking toward us 1:00 in the morning in a dark parking lot with a shotgun. I got my gun on my hip, so I'm reaching for it. And he walks in, and like 2 seconds later, I see and I know him. He wanted to show us a shotgun. Okay, this guy's an idiot. You don't walk up to people in a parking lot with a shotgun. Don't get me wrong. And I would have been 100% justified if I shot him. But if I can show the restraint and I have no training, I think that the cops can do it. You know what like?
Yeah. Yeah, the steps that we had to go through in the middle, like I say the steps that I was trained to go through, because I would have never faced this situation.
Right.
There's a reason we take casualties and we wear body armor, because they're getting the first shot on us every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that just is part of the job. And they tell you that in the recruiting station at this point. Even the bad recruiters will be like, look, we have rules of engagement. You don't shoot first most of the time. Cops have the same gear, man. Like, they have the bulletproof vests and the plates, and like, especially if you're busting down someone's door or attempting an armed robbery, like going into an armed shooter scenario, like you're going in gear. You're not just showing up there with nothing on and a handgun. Like, that's if you are, you're an idiot and you don't need that job anyway. But I don't get this. So it looks like our poll's kind of where it's at. Let me pull it down here. In voting.
So
I'm working on it. Hang on.
I was right. Of course.
It's not working. So the results are 50% Walter, 25% Glock, and 25% SIG. So, GG. Our first poll. That was a mess.
there's a lot of choices on there.
There were.
Yeah. Well, they gave me a maximum of 4, and I know so little about guns that I had to Google it, and so the first result for if you look for handgun brands is a story from Mother Jones, which is totally not a biased source.
No.
Thanks, Google, for that unbiased coverage of handguns.
No shit. What'd they say?
Asshole. Well, the article is fully loaded inside the shadowy world of America's 10 biggest gun manufacturers.
Oh God.
But it also has a list of like Ruger, Remington, Smith & Wesson, Glock. I didn't notice that it was a Mother Jones article until I went to close it out. All right, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on time because I took the wife to work today, so that means I have to go get her. But we're good for a little bit.
There you go.
That's like $12 I don't have right now. We're squeaking into payday this week.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
So other things. So we're talking about guns. So I'd like to kind of step back, broader discussion. Where do you see gun rights going in America, broadly speaking? Because it seems like in some states it's getting better and in some states it's getting worse. So I'll let you guys kind of jump into that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like the Indiana senator talking about, that's just, he's simply blowing smoke and filling out paperwork. That's all. All he's saying is you must put your firearms away out of the reach of your children. He doesn't say how. He doesn't say what will happen if you don't do it. He doesn't say how they'll enforce it.
But you can't.
It's a bunch of bullshit. Any gun owner who has children is already going to do that.
Right. And, the only way you can enforce that is either A, you abolish the Fourth Amendment and you go into everybody's house, or B, it's already too late. Because let's be honest, the only other way you would know other than going in someone's house is if the kid got a hold of the gun and shot himself. So it defeats the fucking purpose.
Yeah, it's only enforceable or whatever in a reactionary way, which is pointless. So don't waste time in paperwork. Move on.
Right. And I guess as far as where I see gun rights going, it depends on the week. It's like a roller coaster. I was a little more positive a couple weeks ago when they struck down the thing where you could 3D print guns. I guess that was a couple months ago. So I was a little more positive about it then. Now it's kind of like there's some law they're putting into Senate. It's going to ban builds, so you can't build your own guns like ARs and shit, which like you still have to put it through an FFL if I'm not mistaken. I've never built one. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me on that. I'm pretty sure you still have to send it to your FFL dealer. And there was another law that they're rumoring that Trump's going to sign gun control laws or something like, which wouldn't surprise me at all, considering he wants to do a ban on bump stocks, which also worries me with his executive order. So I don't know. Bump stocks are expensive and a waste of money. You do. So.
And like, can't you do that with your finger anyway?
You can do it with a belt loop. I don't think it should be illegal. I have no use for it because
Doesn't it make you like not ever hit your target pretty much?
You sacrifice your accuracy and you're going to dump a lot of ammo and a lot of money really fast because ammo is not cheap. Especially now, it's going to keep going up.
That's going to piss me right off.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Las Vegas shooting where this is kind of made famous, I guess, the only reason anyone was hit is because it was a crowd of people.
Right.
And it's impossible to miss when you're spraying.
Right.
Like if he firing off of a bump stock at a target, I'm going to leisurely load my weapon, take aim, and shoot you before you hit me.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, and it's the thing with a lot of people said that saved lives that he had a bump stock there, and that if he were to just able to pick people off with a semi-auto, there would have been an even higher death rate. I mean, obviously we don't know; it's a hypothetical. So, yeah. But still.
I mean, I would buy that. Like, initially, I'm sure that in a packed crowd, it was easy. But once people started to scatter, I'm sure it got harder after that. I wasn't there. I haven't, I'm still waiting for them to release the findings of what actually happened there. Because that hasn't.
We're never going to find out.
They won't. And I don't want to dive into the Alex Jones shit, but there's something going on there.
It's a huge, oh my God. If there was ever a cover up, this is it.
Right. And
For fuck's sake.
They're not even, you have 250 people get shot and then they quit talking about it.
And there's no video footage of it in the day and age of cell phone cameras and CCTV everywhere. Yeah, you can't walk 3 feet in Vegas without a camera in your face from every angle.
Right. No, there's something going on.
It's something fishy.
So Carl's, I don't know exactly what he's talking about here, but he's like, Patriot 1.
I don't know what Patriot 1 is.
I assume that's some kind of transport for the president.
I've heard something, and I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's like, I don't know if it's a smartphone app or an attachment to your smartphone or whatever it is, but they can detect guns that are being concealed carried underneath your clothes. It's something to do with your phone's camera, and there's some malls that are testing it out, like in I think New York or California or something like that. I don't remember the name of it. I saw the article about it though. We need Jamie to pull it up.
Oh, this is scary.
What?
Patriot 1 Technologies, a new standard in weapon detection.
Yep,
Patriot 1 aims to address the spread of active violence through superior detection technologies. Fuck you.
Yeah. No, I don't. No, because I mean, they're gonna use that to look at my junk next. No thanks.
They're already looking at your junk.
Well,
All the time.
that's why I don't fly.
I feel violated every damn time I fly.
Yep. Company.
Okay, so
wait.
he's got a. It's a company that makes these boxes that you can put on a wall, and you wouldn't even know you're being scanned.
Oh shit!
I've heard it. Yeah, that's the thing I was reading about. I didn't know that was the name of it, but that's what it. Yeah, I mean that it's
So where are they
That's
putting?
scary.
malls.
I mean, if it's just a box, you can put that shit anywhere.
Right, but
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm sure there's certain companies or types of company, like you said, malls maybe are doing it.
right. I mean,
So
I'm not going to incriminate myself or anyone else that I know, but I mean, I know there are some people out there that like to carry in gun-free zones, not necessarily schools or anything like that, but like malls. And because a lot of states, it's not illegal. It's just a property rights thing. They can just ask you to leave, and if you don't, then the cops become involved. So I know people who will do that. I think that's kind of scary for them. But at the same time, I'm a private property guy, so
yeah,
you know,
like
if I don't want you,
Yeah.
if I don't leave,
right.
I won't come back.
I think kind of to go down to the nitty gritty there, it's if you're gonna disarm people, then you need to provide active.
No, I
That's
agree.
my stance.
Yeah, because I have no problem when somebody sues your ass because they couldn't carry, and they usually do.
So yeah, we're. Do we have anything else? We're about 35 minutes in. It's a little shorter than last week, but I think we ranted pretty good on this.
We did.
So Caleb, when's now that we've got you on the spot, when's your next video?
I will be shooting tomorrow. I apologize to everyone watching because I know I suck. I've had to take a hiatus for the past couple months because I've been dealing with some shit, you know, and not all of it's been bad. Some of it's just been busy. I know the three things suck. I suck. Life sucks. Socialism sucks. That's all you need to know. It's not really any of your business why I've been gone. So.
But he is coming back.
It's
But
good
I
that
will
you're
be
coming
back.
back.
I had
Oh, I'm excited.
the little election day teaser. I got a thing on Instagram. I was trying to screw around with the Instagram TV. The Instagram TV app. I'm just now figuring it out. I watched, I don't know if you guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. He's like inspires people for social media stuff, and I want to run through a wall for that guy now, so I'm ready to go.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, look him up. If you're ever like feeling down and wanting to post stuff on social media and not really sure, this guy will inspire the shit out of you. So yeah.
Dre, what do you got going?
Another question.
Oh, stop. I am just trying to work on generating revenue for the foundation, and tomorrow I will be at Liberty on the Rocks Omaha edition. So hope to see anybody there who wants to come out and have a couple drinks, talk Liberty, life, and whatever else.
Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. I had to push this back because of all the shit. But Bernie Sanders will be being interviewed live, or not live, but I will do an interview with Bernie. It's going to be soon. I've already got everything figured out. If you guys want to ask him a question, submit a video of it. Get a video, and you can send it to me. My email is Caleb, CALEB, Rooting, REUTING, 12@gmail. So you have a question for Bernie, video it in, and you might be featured.
I remember I sent mine in a while ago.
Yeah, I've ran out of time. That's something that's gonna. Me and Bernie got to sit it down and talk about when we're gonna.
This will be fun.
Yeah, when we're gonna do it. So.
All right. Check out our Facebook page. Most of you are watching this on Facebook. We're up on Minds. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud. I'm still trying to figure out how to get from SoundCloud to like iTunes and Google Play and all that stuff. This is my main project now, but I still am finding that I don't always have time. Because I'm also trying to be a good dad and husband and all that. And, yeah. So that's what we got. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We had an even bigger crowd tonight, so I'm really happy about how this is going so far.
Oh, yeah, I brought my fan club.
Thanks for watching.
All right. Hootie hoo, everyone. Have a good night.
Hootie fucking who.